Hello and welcome to Weekly Open. I'm Ledger here with all the crew. We're all here. First, I want to tell you about FTX. Go to weeklyopen.com/FTX. Make a trade there today. It's the same old portfolio you've known and loved, but it's better because now it's FTX. weeklyopen.com/FTX. Make a trade directly from one asset to the other. If you need to capitulate to tethers after Don gives you his bear case today, you can do it on FTX. And the FTX app, you can also earn yield on your stable coins and your Bitcoins and whatever other coins you want to throw at them. You do it right there. weeklyopen.com/FTX. Luke, you're on top today. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. It's good to be back on top. Can't complain. I wish Bitcoin would move out of a price range so we don't have to keep talking about the same numbers each week, but here we are.
Yeah. Don, how are you?
Good. I mean, price boring, NFTs haven't been moving. So besides that, everything's good, I think.
Yeah. Josh?
Hey folks, how's it going? Just here in this range again, eh?
We can't seem to get out of it.
It's not October yet, you know? September, just gonna September, man. What else is there to say? End pod. That's all there is, really.
I love how we give these like miniature summaries right at the beginning and then people just turn it off and not enjoy the content from there on.
Sign of a good show.
It's people selling the Chinese Bitcoins or, taking profit for Dubai. I don't know. It's one of the two.
Taking profit for Dubai. That's probably smart. This is all going to come crumbling down while all y'all are in Dubai fighting each other and doing whatever else you do in Dubai. Don, you want to give us a kind of state of the market? Where are we since a week ago? What's the outlook?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the monthly still looks hideous, in my opinion. Nothing to say about that one. It's like, I hate these kind of shitty lower highs. I mean, it could change, right? But right now it looks kind of shit. But that doesn't really matter too much. It's just the monthly. I think the weekly is much more important. And I actually had high hopes for this because I closed my short on Friday and hoped that we would actually close above support, which now has turned into resistance. So like technically speaking, the weekly isn't really bullish for me anymore either. Like I could see like 45, like a retest there. But I'd expect that to be resistance. And then maybe we go back to like the lower crab range, just based on the weekly. The only thing that's somewhat looking okay, I think, is the daily, and that really needs some momentum to kind of push it forward. So like for me, like I saw we had like a pretty nice pump going into the weekend, or like pretty much basically beginning of last week. And I hope that we would make like a higher low here and then just push off the low really strongly. But what happened instead was it just like struggled at support a couple times and then barely went to resistance and is now struggling there again. I don't like that very much. Like I hope that this would be where it starts turning around. That's why I closed my short. But like my hope is dwindling with every kind of like every hour that we spend chilling pretty low. Because if you look at the lower time frames, what this basically looks like right now is just the bounce is getting weaker and weaker, right? And that's not something you want to be seeing. I hope that we would push up here, go sideways, and then push through resistance. And then like the majority of the bearishness would have kind of turned around. But right now it just looks like lower high again. I mean, we've done this a couple times. And not a big fan of that. So I hoped we would have some strength, currently not seeing it. And but yeah, I have no position right now. I'm just basically flat with like the exception of having a bunch of NFTs, which is incredibly bearish for the market as a whole. Because if I'm buying NFTs, it's all over, bro. It's just how it is. I'm sorry.
It's just part of the game. We can't have nice things when you have NFTs. I guess one element in terms of what we talked about last week, and then we went and tested into it, was kind of I had drawn this big yellow box of like, that's really that last call, right? Because you had said, Don, if we go to 40, you don't think we'll hold it, basically.
Yeah.
And not only did we go to 40, we spent 4 daily candles down there to some degree in kind of that last stand type of area. And as you said, with the low time frames, there's a significant amount of weakness there. And the question is, can we sustain? Is it all over, or are we just getting trapped? Now, yesterday we had a heck of a candle, right? Like looked like it was going to be RIP, and then just massive buying to turn that around. So the question is it real? Is it somebody trying to save it? Is it based on the Chinese news of crackdowns are good, kind of? I don't even know what you call that. Like DeFi went nuts because of China fleeing to decentralized exchanges, basically was the narrative, right?
Pretty shit narrative, in my opinion. But
Luke, what did you think about all that?
The narrative, I mean, it's so hard to say, right? Like, is that actually Chinese people fleeing to decentralized exchanges, or is that like, investors
hoping that's
able to jump up, able to make a narrative based on opportunistic news? I don't know. I think when I saw the DYDX, I think today their volume surpassed Coinbase is the tweet that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that's true, it reminds me of like when Uniswap and those exchanges did it the first time, and it went on for 3-4 months, and those things continue to catch flows. And it'll probably be similar here. Like we're going to see explosive growth with that. I really like Perp as well. I think it's a fun narrative, even if it isn't necessarily true. Like it's not Chinese people fleeing there. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but it could last for a couple months, and we'll probably go through cycles. I think regardless, like big picture though, for the next 12 months, next 2 years, next couple of years, it's like that is probably something that's going to continue. We actually will see derivatives volume go there as countries around the world just continue to crack down on derivatives. Like that is now something that can happen, and the exchanges can handle the volume. So I think it's good. On the Bitcoin side of things, I'll pull up my chart. I just don't think I still can't share. Ledge, can you update that?
Yeah, I will. That's just me making the same mistakes every week.
It's like it's Monday ritual there.
Yeah, case of the Mondays. Unfortunately, that's the only day the show's on.
That's just how it goes. The Bitcoin side of things, it's like, yeah, you guys mentioned it. We're back at, if you think about that eternal range we spent 2 or 3 months in, or it felt like 2 or 3 months, we're just back testing it again. And I mean, the shitty part about us being down here is like, even when Bitcoin broke out, it just wasn't an exciting trade, at least for me, right? It was like a slow grind up 1 or 2%. Same way on the way down. It just hasn't really been an exciting trade. Like AVAX has been a better trade. All the layer ones have been a better trade. So I'm at a point where it's like, I don't know. I shouldn't say this, but like, I kind of don't care if Bitcoin breaks down here, or if it catches a leg, or if it just bounced around. It just isn't that interesting of a trade. Hasn't trended strong for 2 or 3 months now. So I don't know. Maybe the decentralized,
it doesn't ruin all our other fun trades.
Oh, I think it will. I think that's probably the only reason to pay attention to Bitcoin is like, sure, if we break back down to this range, then we have to sit and stare at our screens every day and wonder if we're actually going to go below 30K. Like I think that's really the only reason to track Bitcoin. It's like, I'm not even looking for a trade there. But yeah, I think it would ruin that fun narrative we have right now of DeFi catching a bid and the layer 1 trade. But that's the only reason I'm watching Bitcoin.
Josh, are you looking at this exact same level?
Yeah, those are some ugly down candles for sure. I mean, you can't make lower. You can't make lower lows. But what Luke said was perfect. It needs to be boring and no one paying attention to it in order for us to have a decent shot at something that's exciting into Q4. So it's still the September. It's okay that it looks like crap. What are we down on the month? 5% on the month at least of September.
I don't know. Bitcoin.
That's a good question.
Bitcoin starting to feel like gold to me.
8%.
Like
down 8%.
Okay.
Like where gold is like, it's always at 1750. Like we're gonna have this thing where Bitcoin is just in the like low 40Ks for the next year.
Look, if you don't like me at 43, you don't deserve me at 120. Okay.
Yeah.
We are here on the chart.
These things take time. You don't want the 30Ks because then everyone's going to be saying it's a double top. Michael Burry's going to be out in force again. I told you guys this was a short. This is the epic short. This is the big short number 2.
Burry.
Yeah, I don't know.
He seems like an emotional guy. Paul, can't let this go. Paul in the chat asked, Luke, are you growing your stash for the fight? Are you gonna enter the ring with a big mustache?
What you're looking at right now, this mustache, it probably has been growing for 2 or 3 weeks. So I hate to tell you, Paul, I can't grow much more. This is all you're gonna get, man. This is. So are you gonna go nasty stash in the ring? No,
that's intimidating.
I'll clean it up a little bit.
Okay,
I'll clean it up a little bit. Gotta look good. I don't really know why I'm growing it out. I guess I just kind of letting it ride right now. I'm in the trenches. I'm getting work in every day.
Yeah.
Paul, back off.
When you go to the grocery store, I'm not sure people around you think it's a safe place.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I might not be a safe person right now. I don't want to be messed with.
Okay. Just curious. Stash looked good and Paul brought it up. So I just needed to ask.
Appreciate that, Paul.
So where everybody consensus is Bitcoin is both boring and weak. So much like me. So where are the fun trades, right? Where can we actually seek volatility and have a good time? Anybody have anything?
Certainly not ETH. ETH looks just as bad as BTC.
I mean, ETH BTC has just been sideways for how long now?
A long time.
150 days. Jesus. I mean, for me, like I tried my hand with the NFTs. Those became boring the moment I touched them. I don't know what I can ruin next, honestly.
Can you just get out of my bags?
Don't buy AVAX, dude. Come on, we're so close to all-time highs again.
Okay.
Don't buy it.
So
how much are you gonna pay me to not buy it?
We'll talk after this call, all right?
Okay.
So ETH BTC, 136 days since May 14th when it topped. But of the consolidations in crypto, like this is one of the nicer looking ones, right?
Yeah, I don't think it looks terrible. I think it looks like nothing, basically, which is good, right? If it looks like nothing after big move up, I mean, that's as good as you can hope for, I think.
I think what you're seeing, I mean, look at this, the way the 156 days since all-time high, the 200 days just catching right up to it. My guess is this continues to not do anything until that becomes all compressed, right? So, like, it could go until, look at that. No, by November, I bet that all catches up.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, and it gives you your fun, your fun activities to end the year again.
ETH and Bitcoin are just such boomer markets now. Like they just move so slow.
Yeah. So when I look at ETH USD, similarly, I actually feel like it's a little cleaner than the Bitcoin chart because it's closer to an equal high, right? I talked to Don, I know about this at one point. Like it looks less like complacency, looks more like equal high and consolidation strength. Obviously that can be undone if Bitcoin decides to, be a turd Ferguson. But generally when I look at the year 2021 with Ethereum, it looks a whole lot like the year 2017 with Ethereum, all the way to like Scamwick that kind of frames out that consolidation triangle thing. And then you could have another 6, 7, 8 weeks as it continues to consolidate before you prepare for a December breakout. And that's when I think you could get that 6 to 10K type of acceleration all in one go at the end of the year. And it looks like from a fractal perspective, that equal high on a weekly and then, consolidation before a big move is the dream. That's not necessarily to say it's a guarantee, but I believe that trade is still very much intact. And being the end of September, it's time to pay attention to that, right? Because that will be the single greatest opportunity that we could possibly have to end the year is, a massive move with a highly liquid market if it can pull that off. So that's what I'm certainly watching. Y'all think I'm crazy with that?
No, I like the fractal.
I think we're one EIP away from just sending it, boys. You know, we just need one more piece, one more pumpamental. And could you imagine where ETH would be without EIP 1559? I don't know.
Probably a little lower, but not much. Like, I don't know. I don't think it'd be that terribly different. I mean, I think
some people have the argument that it's out competing DeFi as far as like use. like EIP 1559 is burning more ETH than DeFi can even like muster as far as use case, and gas is obviously atrocious.
Yeah, but
so I wonder in like the parallel world where EIP 155 doesn't exist, would ETH be in a better place? You know, I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird.
Narrative wise, probably not. I see what you mean though, usage wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke, talk to us about this layer 1 DeFi Bitcoin comparative chart.
I mean, it's just I just kind of keep it up as like a frame of reference on how we're moving for the month. And I mean, it was clear even last month. It's like layer ones just have been the trade, whether you liked Solana and I wasn't in Solana, so I was kind of coping as that thing continued to go up, and everyone enjoyed that trade. But I've been in AVAX, and it's been fun to watch. Obviously,
why is TEZOS in yellow? That's what I want to know. Is it not?
I was trading TEZOS yesterday.
Okay, so it's not because it's like a substandard layer 1.
Well, I think that actually is true as well. I wanted something that would catch my eye. I was on a much smaller time frame, and I was trying to see how it was moving relative to everything else. The shocking thing about TEZOS is, you call it what you want. I think you named it appropriately there, is how well it's actually done though within that list, like outperforming Luna, outperforming DOT, right behind Solana. Like I bet most people wouldn't guess that if they wouldn't have seen this chart first, that TEZOS is right behind Solana in terms of performance, far better than ETH, far better than Bitcoin, obviously. But the trend here is clear for September. It's like DeFi is doing the worst. And that's because all the money that would be going into those, it's much easier for VCs to bid up layer ones. It's just a better trade. And then you have ETH and Bitcoin right in the middle. And then you have all the layer ones. It's like that has been the only trade for the month. And, you know, I don't know if that continues in October, but if it does, it's probably going to be, you know, pick whichever one you like, but just be in one of them because they're outperforming the rest of the market.
We need some, I don't know if you remember last year, Q4, but we need some group of conglomerate corporations to come out and say, yeah, we bought like Walmart, right? We're supposed to get that Walmart news.
Yeah, we were supposed to get that. What the hell happened to that?
We need something. We need a spark for Q4 to really start us off, to bring people back into the fold.
I mean,
BTC.
should Twitter officially supporting both Bitcoin payments and NFTs should that not be a catalyst of worthy size?
I mean, we need people with real money, you know, not people on CT.
Not Twitter.
We need them buying, not supporting. We need them just buying it.
Yeah. Okay. I see. We need it on balance sheets more than
need the balance sheet,
Salvador's 127 Bitcoin or whatever they bought.
Exactly.
So, Luke, do you look at these kind of comparative sector charts frequently? Is that how you try to find the movers?
I haven't, but I'm definitely going to make it a habit to start doing this every single month, just to kind of keep things in check. Like even in the past couple of days, like I just didn't really jump into the DeFi trade yesterday. Congrats to everyone that did, because Uniswap and SushiSwap and Perp and DYDX, those were ripping for like 20 or 30%. But for me, it's like, I don't know. As you look at this, every single bid that DeFi has caught, it's like you're kind of a fool to jump on and think it's going to continue. If it does continue, it's like the layer ones just bounce even harder right after. So
they just fade like mad, man. It's crazy.
So I think having something like this just kind of keeps you in check of like, is what I'm buying actually outperforming the rest of the market? Because, you know, you can look at it versus the Bitcoin pair, you can look at it versus the dollar pair, but as you kind of break it down like this, it's, you know, are you even focused on the right group? And then from there, go ahead and make your pick. But you know, you can pick the best performing DeFi coin. You're still probably not doing too well this month.
It's weird because I think once proof of stake comes for ETH, these will be better. But then you have all this ETH unlock from the proof of stake component. This is like supply shock or whatever.
Is there really that much that just straight up locked into ETH 2.0 versus like used Lido or other like liquid staking things?
I don't know. Honestly, the numbers are kind of irrelevant to me. It's more about the narrative. People are it's just gonna be sell the news thing. I think 100%.
When does
it
that?
won't be like a permanent down forever. It'll be it's like Mt. Gox releasing coins, which is another piece of FUD / real stuff that's eventually coming.
We think that's likely next year though, right?
Gox?
No, I don't actually know.
The Ethereum 2.0 stuff.
Oh.
There was some
I
talk
also
about
don't actually know.
Late this we're experts. There was some talk about that being this year, like November or something, but I don't know if that's actually on time.
I doubt it. They always schedule stuff Q4 and then they push it back to January, February.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been next year for the past 3 years.
So it's interesting to me, Luke, that Luna on your chart is not as outperformant, but when I look at it on like a daily perspective, it probably looks the strongest out of all these layer ones. Maybe because it just hasn't had that blast up yet, whereas most of the others had that big move, and Luna is sitting at basically the same levels it established in mid-August, but it looks quite strong independently to me. And our listeners of various shows like constantly just trolled me like, "You're ignoring Luna, you idiot," type of stuff. So does anybody have like a bull case for Luna that they want to offer?
Crickets.
My bull case is when I was in the call with the DeFi or the Delphi guys, we were talking about Axie Infinity. What was that? July, August? I don't know. That's when I kind of went pretty big into Axie. That trade obviously worked out very well. But the one thing that they also said, they're like, take a look at Luna. This was back when Novogratz said, Luna should do well Q4. I'm buying. And people were like, are you kidding? That coin's never going to go up. I think it's up like 5 or 7x, right? It was at $3 or $4 a couple of months ago. Now it's sitting pretty high. I don't know enough about it. Ledger, it is a funny thing where I do see it talked about on Twitter in my comments a lot, but you don't see any like, I don't know. I don't see too much else about it other than like reply guys.
I've heard.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know for certain, but I have heard it's got more uptick in other like in non-American venues. You know what I mean?
It could make sense.
I've heard it's more popular like in Korea, for example.
You mean like Neo and OMG? Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it either relative to everything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's interesting. But a lot of people shill it to us frequently, but it
does look good.
It's currently $15 billion market cap, which is that's a lot. So something to consider there. But like pure chart wise, looks quite good and fully diluted. By the way, here's the little premiere of the flip preview. What the beta is going to look like. 37 billion FTV here and 15 billion circulating. So this is already a large coin,
Yeah. I may sound like a complete idiot, especially to the Luna heads out there that are experts, but all that I know is that the way that they use stable coins is kind of revolutionary. And I could see a narrative of like, as regulations, it seems like they're going to go after stable coins next, and seems to be a target or at least a talking point a lot. When they talk about regulations, it's like, I don't know, it could point to Luna being the solution there. I could definitely, if that narrative isn't forming already, so once you go out there and make it. But I don't, that's like the only talk I've seen about it.
What is it about their stablecoin stuff that is so special?
It's just the way, once again, I'm not an expert at all, but the way that I've heard it explained in a very explain it to them like I'm 5 years old version is that it's like a perfect Ponzi-nomic of the stable coin is used to buy back Luna. It's some kind of a two-way token that they're very supportive of each other.
So it's kind of like
I said,
an ohm style dynamic where it's backed by itself.
I'm not sure. I haven't dove in. So as I said, I probably sound like an idiot if you're deep in the Luna ecosystem, but I know that they've devised some kind of mechanism that helps fuel it.
Yeah, the chat's saying it's algo pegged. So it's algo pegged and probably has some kind of backing, which sounds very some blend of Maker, Titan. Like that's a scale of fail, right? You don't want to go full Titan. Never go full Titan.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a fun narrative though. If they go after stable coins, I think Luna has a good shot there. At layer one that I've been super curious about yesterday, and I was clicking around smashing buttons and realized like I should figure out why people are buying this, is TEZOS. Like I don't understand why it's doing so well this month, and especially this week. Like it was one of the best performing layer ones. I don't know why. And obviously the TEZOS bulls are like, are you kidding me?
It's NFTs.
It's just NFTs. It's just NFTs.
And I finally bought it, and now it probably marks Pico top. Like
that's how I felt yesterday. So I clicked out of my position. I'm like, what am I doing? Did I buy the top?
Bought it too. We all bought it.
Yeah, like what the hell is going on?
But I actually got like a really, really good entry. I got it on the nuke down. So
like sub 5 or something. Like
I got it on the wick down on the Bitcoin pair.
Oh, I bought the Pico top. Like I bought it. I bought it at like 650 or something, and then I bought more, like legit at the top, like above $7. So
Ledger, I'm with you around 650, which felt good for a couple hours, and now it's like it's back to there, probably lower. So I don't know if we bought the top, but I don't understand why it's going up. It's just NFTs. People love their NFTs.
Yeah, we talked about this on Friday. Our show title for LedgerCast was "You're Gonna Make Me Buy TEZOS," because like the NFT narrative, I may not like it, but it's sticky, right? It's clean NFTs, whatever, like the green argument, they're really going after it. They're advertising.
Clean NFTs.
Yep. I'm serious. The arts they've attracted is pretty good. The artists they've attracted are pretty reputable. They're advertising like crazy. I don't think their DeFi stuff, Josh has looked into this, is like super impressive, but they're out there. And when you look at this chart, like it's here, 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 here. I thought fourth tap it's going to run. And now we spent the weekend and this beautiful Monday proving me wrong. And like now I'm sitting here with this shit entry wondering when do I cut it. So I don't want to cut it. Unfortunately, the downside is like $4. It's like go $7, $4 doesn't feel good. So you got to be a little judicious about how you're going to play a position like that. But even if it goes to $4, I don't think that totally disrupts the potential narrative. It really worries me though when things that we don't feel that impressive. Like we're not impressed by them, but then they like catch this bid, and the question is, can they pick up retail traction or not? Right? Like, can my thought, the way I convinced myself of this is, one, it's on Coinbase and newbie platforms, and then two was the ADA rotation, right? Like smart contracts are enabled, so let's rotate those bags. I felt like it could pick up that type of narrative, and people would believe the whole like it's like Ethereum, but it's green, or it's green NFTs, or that kind of stuff could really catch on. Maybe I'll just be a sucker, and I'm just liquidity for Don. I don't know.
No, I'm not gonna sell. I think like the narrative's good. I didn't get to buy too much, and like the setup, I can actually quickly screen share.
I mean, it is cheap too, as like a layer one. Not like cheap. It's not, it's super cheap, but I'm saying like, I mean, it's number 36 on CoinGecko. So
it's flavor of the month rotation. It's below $10.
I mean, for me, it was just kind of like, we had this range in here, forever range. And then we broke out of it. And I was just looking to get in on like a retest, and it nuked below the range on like intra week. And that's basically where I thought, like, if I'm going to buy it now. Didn't buy too much. So maybe my curse isn't onto like the TEZOS guys or like all of you, but like, I think like there's a good chance that it just runs. So might as well. And I'm not going to take, like, I think I'm just going to get myself invalidated before I sell it, which might be a really good top indicator. I don't know. But like in general, when you look at this chart, right, what's your target? Because this went sideways in here for a couple of years. It broke out of that. It's done that before a couple times, but like even if you kind of target like on the Bitcoin pair somewhere like sensible, that'd still be like a 2x away. And I don't think like I'm not gonna take profit there if we get there. I'm much rather like once it starts losing levels, no matter if it's going to be the weekly range down here. So if it starts falling back in, then I get nervous. Once it gets back above like previous resistance and then starts losing that, then I get nervous, right? No matter which, like where the level is, I want to see this lose levels before I sell it. That's kind of my plan with it anyway.
Yeah. I was also looking at that like 25K sats region in terms of what looked magnetic. And then the Ethereum pair also is just, I mean, the first significant trend shift in forever for TEZOS. I can pull it up. And that's like a really long-term trend. I got it right here. Done.
Nice.
And it's already up. I mean, off the bottom is one thing, but even if you go from like where it was more confirmed, like 50% relative to Ethereum. But if you imagine this as a range trade and say, it could get back to, I don't know, something like this, then even if you market buy relative to Ethereum here, that's 280%. That would be a pretty incredible trade if you could capture that, like outperform Ethereum by 280%, like a 280% relative trade. You're more than tripling your bags. So that would be sick.
Yeah, I agree. It actually looks better on the ETH pair than everywhere else.
And the other element, like Luke said, we just talked about that $15 billion cap for Terra Luna, and Tezos is 5.4 billion. So
easy 3x, dude. Easy.
I'm just saying, sometimes these multiples, you talk about what they could do, and then you look at like the gut check against the, against the price or whatever, against the market cap, and you're like, that sounds a little too extreme. In this case, it doesn't sound too extreme to me. It sounds like it's possible.
Yeah.
Am I talking hopium for something I overinvested in? Yes.
I'm on board. I'm with it. I'm eating this up.
I mean, it's Tezos, right? We're all going to lose money.
None of us. The thing is, none of us want to buy this. None of us want to like this. But
we hate it.
Like, we're all in it because even I, on the 23rd, I looked at it and all the on-chain stats are way up. Google Trends all-time high. Like, you can't ignore that, and if it ranges and breaks down, so be it. But it's a great setup from that perspective.
It's just tough when you buy something like this. It's like, with AVAX, they have the incentives, and I kind of think to myself, I'm like, I don't know, maybe some DeFi apps will always live on AVAX. It's far faster and cheaper than ETH. I could kind of see that future. When I buy something like Tezos, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's going up because of the NFTs. I'm like, what? No. Is this really gonna last? I don't know. It's it feels a bit empty, but I'll trade it, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, legitimately, Tezos has killed multiple bull markets before, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
So us getting into it is not a good sign, but then again, I'm here for it.
Honestly, my swing trades of Tezos historically have been fantastic. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything. Well, I guess I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. But I basically got off the Tezos train exactly when it mattered, and I got like a majority of this swing, and then I think I only got a small amount of this swing, and then I never touched it again. But essentially, all three of these moves relative to BTC, I captured some of those, and then I never touched it again. I didn't touch it in any of this consolidation, and then it just died and died and died. Never touched it, and now I bought it when it looked like it reversed that. So give us a freaking trade, Tezos. Like, do your job, Brightmans or whatever your name is. Pump our bags. They're gonna sell everything and just liquidate us.
Yeah, I can already smell it. But last time I traded, it was like really good as well. I pretty much just took the same trade, like the November 19 to like middle of March kind of trade, like this leg. That was fun. I still remember like back, Tezos is always so weird because it has like no liquidity, right? It's like
Coinbase is decent now.
Yeah.
Coinbase by far became the most liquid market. It used to only be on
Bitfinex or something?
Bitfinex, and Kraken got it shortly after that. Neither was liquid. And it just really were no liquid markets. FTX US still doesn't have Tezos. I would love to trade on our partner's platform, FTX US. They're
not going to add it.
Maybe they'll list it. Maybe they won't.
No way.
Competitor to Solana, dude.
Yeah,
this is the problem.
Will not list layer ones, dude.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
Go on, Sam. Brett, come on.
What's the promise of Tezos, or what was the narrative in previous cycles? I thought they were like,
bro, I just saw a number go up. Okay,
securities.
I don't care what the
no, seriously, like
narrative is.
Ledger, what was the narrative when you were buying back then? You keep catching these Tezos moves. What was it trying to do in the past? Because I know it was not pumping because it was a green NFT platform in previous years.
No, it was smart contracts on OCaml, which was not really a feature, more of a bug, still is. But they were early to a really high quality like staking experience. Having a more democratic system with the way they do like bakers. So you could stake any amount of Tezos, and then I think to run your own node, I don't remember how many you needed, like 8,000 Tezos or something like that. So their experience for establishing like unstaked versus staked, so revenue generating Tezos, was pretty early in terms of like layer ones doing that kind of stuff. And a lot of folks thought like, well, this is actually a pretty good experience and this works pretty well. And, you know, there were tons of bag holders that did the 2017 ICO public sale that wanted it to go up. And maybe that's part of the problem here, right? Like, it's just never mooned. And some people put money into it. Some people put all their money into it in like May 2017. And like the number is the same as it was then almost, you know? Like that would
that's a rough one.
Imagine if you've like basically been a Tezos community member since 2017, and from a dollar perspective even, it's like basically the same.
I think that's what we're seeing now is people who have been holding for so long are just happy to get out at anything near an all-time high. Yeah, and that's how you get these like these interim tops. I mean, we saw
it's not exactly the same. It was $1.50, and then it was 40, as low as like 40 cents. So it's like 15x off the bottom, but 15x off the bottom, that's weak compared to almost anything else.
Well, I joked about all that Tezos moving on Friday, but I think that's part of it. You see at highs, you do see people who've been holding start to sell because they're just sick of holding. So they're like, yeah, this is a great place. Yeah.
One other element of that, there's two types of bag holder, right? The other type of bag holder is like, screw you, I've held this sucker for 5 years and I have undeniable hands of steel. And you will not take Tezos from me for under $100 each. And those people are great too, because like you need some people to like capitulate the bag too soon, and then they're the ones that FOMO back out. And then you need some people that will just continue to hold and prop the price up so that swing traders can come in and dump it on them, you know, and they never reach their target. All types of bag holders are welcome, but it is undeniably, it's harder to move a coin when it has that long history of underperformance relative to like constantly seeking new highs, like something like Solana.
Yeah, I mean, the less volatile something is, the more kind of time people have to set bids or like asks and just be like, I want to get out of this thing. And I mean, Tezos, just look at it. It just went sideways forever. My reason for shilling it back then was actually because they had such a large treasure chest of just money, right? Tezos people are rich. And I was like, back then everything pumped that had like a big treasure chest. And so I was like, okay, Tezos probably going to pump too. And that actually worked out back then. But I haven't seen them use it in any good way, honestly. Like, I mean, they have so much money.
Oh, you mean use their money well?
Yeah. And I was like, back in 19, I was like, they have so much money. The market is kind of prime for like altcoin movements. They're probably going to spend some of it to kind of make it go up. And that was kind of like most of the narrative I was going for. And it just pumped, but they didn't do shit. And then just mega dumped.
I mean, as of September 2020, they had $1 billion, or they had 25K BTC basically.
Yeah, they have so much.
I doubt they have that much anymore. They probably spent it on advertising useless trash, right? But
who cares? Like, if you can buy a billboard at the Met Stadium for like $5 million, who cares? Like, that's nothing for them.
Right, but is that going to have an impact? More people on crypto Twitter are talking about it. Yeah. The people who are already in trading are talking about it. The new people have probably no clue what the hell XTZ is, you know?
I mean, to be fair, I think that's the case for most crypto advertisement, right? Like, I've seen so many crypto advertisements in like traditional sports or whatever. And I mean, I find it like, it's nice that the name's out there, but like, I don't think anyone really cares too much. Like, if you're watching that sport, you don't really give a shit who the sponsor is, right? I can't remember one thing where I watched football or soccer or whatever you want to call it, and started Googling the ads that I saw. Like, I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, when a coin is advertising like on a Formula One car or something, it's just like, it's kind of cringe now, honestly. It's like people have been there, done that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I am going to provide one counter argument. And so this is FTX US volume over 15 days, or I guess with a moving average. So their share of US volume is definitely going up, and it was quite low. So it's got a lot of room. But theirs was a very dedicated advertising push. And it's like, they went for Tom Brady. They went for Giselle and Steph Curry, and they're on umpires' uniforms, and like they're advertising, and then it looks like they're seeing the results of that.
But are they making more than they actually spend? I doubt it. It's not like
matter.
It's an investment, right? Basically.
Yeah, you're like setting the tone early on, and obviously, like, I have partnerships with FTX, like, but my point is, you look at the way they've gone about advertising. I think it's been pretty smart. They shore up the crypto natives through a show like this, Up Only, Don and Cred, your stuff. Like, they shore up the insiders, like keep the relationships good there, make Sam accessible, like get people on board, and then you go reach outsiders and pull them in by going to other degenerate locations of participation, sports and people that like sports gambling, or like they did Barstool stuff, and they're like, you can't watch Sunday Night Football without seeing Tom Brady and Giselle talking about FTX. Like, I think that ends up being impactful. It has no need to have a 1-for-1 revenue generation today, because you're just like, you're putting that name out there so that when people are ready to buy crypto or FOMO in or whatever, they'll remember where they can do it. And that, I mean, advertising's worked for a long time. And I think the reason theirs interests me is because they're going in deep enough with fat wallets that it'll have an impact, versus if it's like a one-off, prayer shot, it's probably not going to work.
That I agree with. Like, I think like FTX actually does it smart in the way that they're just everywhere. Because if you see a TEZOS advertisement somewhere in a sports stadium or whatever, you're not really going to remember it. Even if you're like, oh, I want to buy some crypto. Oh, I saw an advertisement for that like half a year ago, but I have no fucking idea what it was anymore, right? Whereas FTX just is everywhere. I don't know, like, if it's gonna kind of make their money back in like a year or 2 or 3 or 4, but like, as like for the entire industry, it's pretty nice that someone is putting that money out there. So, I mean, definitely appreciate that. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, I don't think for the project itself, it's going to do much good in the short term. This is more of a long-term kind of play.
Yeah. And I definitely think you're going to benefit more when you do full saturation rather than trying to, like, shoot your shot, right? The same way that's how GoDaddy won, right? They had the Super Bowl commercial, and then they smothered the airways with commercials beyond that. Some can do it within a specific niche, like Squarespace and MailChimp must have sponsored every major podcast, like every broad use podcast. And it didn't matter, like, that Squarespace might not have been the best option. People that were making those decisions within their organizations were like, oh yeah, Squarespace, because I heard it on a podcast ad, you know? So if you hit certain stuff in a certain way, it can work. Advertising can work. Will it work for a coin versus an exchange? I don't know about that. So the chat's mad at us for talking about both Tezos and advertising for so long. But I find it interesting because crypto has gone mainstream, right? Like, it's really weird to see the brands that we have relationships with within our small ecosystem also, like, on television, you know, and sponsoring celebrities and all this crazy stuff going on. And that mainstreamification is going to change the dynamic of how everything works in the industry, right? You have more, I think you have more small buyers. You have more, like, maybe people buying passively on a regular basis without looking at charts. And it's not just like the same group of like 30 to 50,000 people worldwide dumping on each other and rotating and, you know, doing all these things. So it's just fascinating.
PvP. You know what we need? We need that one meme where it's the guy and he's holding the butterfly. It's like, does this mean we're celebrities? It's like the companies are working with us. They're also working with Tom Brady. It's like, I don't know.
I think the answer is no. It's just like people on the outside are like, why are there people that pay attention to this every day?
Like, I imagine that goes, yeah, that's probably a thought that normal people have.
Yeah. Here's a random thing. So legacy markets look kind of weak overall, but this might be the best looking chart in the world right now. I don't know. Just throwing this out there. Is this fake? This is the Russell 2000 again. Very weird when it's on
boomerist of indexes, by the way.
It is, but it's like, you know, the Q's off the top, S&P off the top, IWM or the Russell 2000, very, very strong and looks like it wants to do something. Is that scary, or is it a sign that, like, legacy is just more in a rotation game than anything else? Which would be bullish for crypto, obviously.
If it's, I think legacies.
The chart looks really good if it doesn't break down to the head and shoulders. Looks like a bull flag or whatever. No, Russell.
Oh, yeah.
Russell 2000 is something I think of people like looking at the newspaper for like what happened to it. Like, it's that to me in my head, it's that boomer.
What were you gonna say, Luke?
It's like they're seeing what's working in crypto. They're seeing the rotations. Let's buy, smaller cap layer ones. And that's what they're trying in stocks now. They're like, let's go for the Russell 2000.
I mean,
trying our strategies over there.
The amount of time these distributions are lasting, like, look at AMC. AMC is still $40 and it's still going out of business, but they're like, you know, they're putting out crypto related news every other day now. Like, oh yeah, we might accept Bitcoin. We might accept Dogecoin. We'll give you free popcorn. And it's because these executives are selling stock every time they possibly can. And it's just working. Like, the distribution on something like that is incredible. And it's just, I would never have believed such a stock could stay that high for so long. GME may have a slightly better path for, like, existing in the future, but same thing, $190 off 3, and it's still there. It's basically spent all year distributing in the same,
you're still up
in the same place. It's incredible.
Do you think there's any chance that it breaks the highs? I think there is, actually.
Of course,
I can see it
because people are probably still trying to, like, reposition short because I think it's like quietly, you know, because they think there's no way this sustains, and then they end up getting wrecked because it does it again. You know, like, I don't know. It's incredible.
Like, I legitimately could see this go to like $1,000 and then to $5 after. Like, that's how fucking crazy this shit is.
It's insane.
Like, this is like the kind of movement. I mean, I can see how, like, traditional traders are looking at this and being like, okay, we gotta short this. It's like so dumb. And then they get just blown the fuck out by like 50 IQ morons. And then those get blown out completely afterwards. Like, I'd be very, very surprised if you had, like, if this thing was still up in 5 years. It's just like, where the fuck do you short it, basically? And I don't think here is the point, even though it's really, really attractive from from any sane standpoint, right? It's just like, I would never want to be caught in that short squeeze if that ever happens.
Bro, Amazon's going to buy GME and that's going to be it.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is when Tesla was really expensive, not now, which it is, even though it's almost at all-time highs. But back when people were like, there's no way this electric car stuff is going to work. And it was 2013 and Tesla was $7. And people were like, this is stupid. This is a good short, yada, yada. And you look at it, like look at it today, you know, you throw it in linear. But when you're in log, it went from 7 to like 40. And then it just sustained it. But it then went sideways for like 4 years, you know? So it repriced to a level that was absolutely absurd from a valuation perspective. And then it spent years and years catching up to it. And actually it was more than 4 years, because if you consider like it topped out maybe September 2013, it still was that same price June 2019. So, I mean, you could almost go all the way to December 2019. So the 6 years of this incredible range for it to catch up to itself before it then breaks out and goes crazy again. So for something like Tesla, for something like maybe some of these cryptocurrencies that marked up a ton, this shouldn't surprise us if that's the outcome, right? We're all anticipating they go down by 95%, but what if the super cycle type effect is actually that they just, you kind of hit like a stagflation type equivalent, right? Like where they're just like, it's priced in for a while now, but you don't get the negative 99.9% on everything again. That would be a really interesting outcome in all markets, not just legacy. Y'all think I'm coping there or what?
No,
yeah,
I mean,
big cope.
I'd be surprised if crypto stayed like a. Yeah, I've looked at this list, right? And I don't know if you guys have, but like at the top 100 coins, and I've looked at their market cap, and then you have like going to the bottom of the list, like the 100th coin has like 850 million market cap. I still remember when that was like 15 to 30 back like just a couple of years ago. And then you go like all the way down to the list, like whatever, page 4, right? So like 400, and you look at the market caps and they're still stupidly high, right?
What are these coins?
Yeah, it's like,
actually, some of these are 2017 ICOs.
Yeah,
Districts. I think I was in there. I don't know if
yeah,
I want to say that, but I think I was in there.
I've actually traded this a couple of times, yeah. But it's like, it's still 89 million, and like there's nothing happening for most of these.
I don't mean it on every coin, but I mean.
Yeah, of course. But like, I'm just like saying this is fucking nuts. I don't know how this is going to sustain. I don't know. Maybe it will, right? Maybe that's just like we're headed into this like crypto kind of universe. But this is kind of mad to me when you have like everything in the 100 million range, even if you go way down the line.
Bro, you're not bullish. World. You're not bullish on AVBC coin, bro? Come on.
Wilder World. What is that? Please click on that.
Where? Wilder World.
Number 393. That can't be a real coin.
So
wild.
I'm not saying there wouldn't be massive volatility, but like that Tesla range that I highlighted, there might have been 50-60% volatility in some of that. And in our circumstances, we could have an 80% drawdown on Solana and then a 4x, but then it doesn't make new highs until like a new cycle. You know what I mean? Like it could be. Is anybody really anticipating this kind of like multi-year range? Is that a possible outcome? I don't know. I'm just saying I'm interested, and we're getting to the point. The reason I bring this up, we're getting to the point where I have to figure out what is my plan, because I had a 2021 plan, and guess what? It's like going to be October real soon. Next time we talk, it'll be October. And when you're in October, you're in the last quarter of the game, you know, and you have to determine, is this a calendar year game? And what's 2022 look like? What's my plan going forward? My personal plan was get liquid. And so I have to determine, like, how do I get liquid and what do I do? What do I get liquid in? Am I going to, like, park myself in dollars at some point? Am I going to, like, how am I going to preserve the win? Because we are all beaten and battered 2017, 2018, 2019 participants, where things were pretty good in 2017, but now our net worths are more than back then. and we don't want to go through that like 2+ year contraction cycle. You want to secure the bag. You want to make it. So how do you make it? What's the plan? And that's
Stables and TEZOS, baby. Stables and TEZOS.
God, if that's the future, count me out.
No, I don't know, Ledger. It's a good point. I don't know. I guess I don't put I haven't put such a strict like that it has to be over at the end of the calendar year. But maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know either. But my default narrative was to think that it's going to be over close to the transition of the calendar year. Unless it's a 2-year cycle, which was kind of my thinking going into the year. And that's possible, especially if like Bitcoin consolidates the entire year and then maybe it does its breakout and you're able to Ponzi things up because people can afford their taxes if the number keeps going up, right? But people are going to have unrealized gains that they have to take. I talk about taxes all the time, but I talk about it because it's real, right? People owe taxes based on the calendar year and they have to pay them. And they typically are 99% of their net worth in crypto. So they have to sell crypto to do it. So the seasonality, Josh has convinced me over the years, is real. So yeah, I thought the calendar year was the deal, and I want to figure out how do we plan into it. Someone's begging me in the chat, so at least like the third time, to look at Atom and Cosmos. Anybody have a chart for Atom and Cosmos that they want to share?
Oh, crickets.
I mean, Atom's just mega mooning, right? I mean, it's just basically like a straight up breakup. I have it on somewhere. Oh, yeah.
You're looking at it.
Yeah, but I had like a proper chart for it, but nuked itself, I guess.
One where you had drawings.
Yeah, where I had
your red boxes on it.
Yeah, no, green boxes.
All green boxes, all support.
Yeah, I mean, like this basically like broke out of resistance, and I mean, even on the Bitcoin pair, it just looks good, right? Like you don't want to counter trade. Like even if this pulls back, I think it's buy, and it's like really bad if you lose this again. But I mean, that's really far away. On the Bitcoin pair, on the USD pairs, like wow. The USD pairs have been kind of shit, honestly. Like because you could say, okay, if this loses like $28 or whatever, you get out, but that's so far away. And it's like it's not really helping you much.
You know what interests me about these whenever they pop up is when you have volume relative to market cap that's so high. So market cap's 10 billion, but volume's almost 2 billion. That's always pretty exciting when something like that happens. It means there's a lot of interest in trading it. So
it's part of the layer one trade. Pick one, pick any of them. They're all going up. Atom's actually right behind AVAX this month. I was kind of surprised that high. It's up 70% this month. And it's third. Phantom, AVAX, and Atom. And then Solana is about pretty far off those, but all four of those having a good month.
Yeah. And one more question is the omni-chain, multi-layer, etc. The layer 2 to layer 2 bridges, the layer 1 to layer 2's bridge plays. I'm very publicly a supporter of layer 0, which is exactly that, the omni-layer, omni-chain protocol. But there are some other options out there too. Thorchain's not really caught a bid since it's it bottomed when it shut down, but it hadn't like caught a new bid. And I think they just have to get their network back and running. Have to be a real product before it can do much. I think it's like $7-8 right now. There's a bunch of other solutions out there that people are toying with. Syn, SYN. Do y'all know that one? Is a relatively Synapse. It's a relatively new launch that's within the same realm of goals, liquidity back and forth. I just think this is, as a problem set, going to be really important because, like you said, Luke, if there's always this DeFi activity in these places, there's always this kind of rotation game between the coins on different places, then that's going to be really important. How do you get stuff back and forth? How do you collateralize things? How do you make it accessible? How do you make it compatible? How do you guarantee finality and whatever? And whoever wins, and there'll probably be multiple winners, but whoever wins is it's going to be a really good play, right? You're building the bridges between these massive ecosystems. You're bound to be pretty large.
I like bridges. I like one bridge the most, but I like bridges. All bridges.
Sam in the chat said, Sam Leck said, Hop, Synapse, Connext, Layer 0. Those are the 4 in their mind that are kind of at the coin plays at the top of the food chain. So, and similar to other blockchains, different trade-offs and whatnot with different opportunities. So keep those in mind. That's a narrative that you want to pay attention to. No different than, NFTs, DeFi, whatever, games, layer 1 trades. There will always be rotations and we want to play them. Should we leave it there?
Yep.
We should.
Thanks everybody for being here.
That's a weekly open.
That's a weekly open. Go to weeklyopen.com/FTX. Make your first trade there today. Swap directly from one asset to the other. You can do it all on FTX. Weeklyopen.com/FTX. Seriously, go there. Oh, I switched to the wrong thing. Where is this? There it is. You need to see that rocket, right?
Such a boomer, dude.
Yeah. Weeklyopen.com/FTX. Make a trade, track your portfolio, do all the good stuff. Get yield on your tokens on FTX.